Okay, this is Miss Sussman's class. Please make sure you have pencil and paper to take notes. Our essential question for today is how can you rename fractions greater than 1 as a mixed number and rename mixed numbers as fractions greater than 1? Okay, so it's really two different questions. And my first number that I have here, 2 and 5/8, this is what's called a mixed number. And it's called a mixed number because you have a whole number and a fraction together. It's 2 and 5/8 all together. And this number below it, 21/8, is called a fraction greater than 1 because as you can see, the numerator is bigger than the denominator, which means the fraction is greater than 1. Now, your parents may have heard it called an improper fraction. That's what it used to be called. We don't call that anymore because it's not improper. There's nothing wrong with it. It didn't do anything wrong. It's not in trouble. It's just a fraction greater than 1. So let's talk about how you can rename a fraction greater than 1 as a mixed number. Okay, so let's look at our example here of 2 and 5/8. It's actually very easy to do. You simply multiply 8 times 2, and then you add the numerator. Okay, so I'm going to take my denominator, which is 8. I'm going to multiply it by 2, which gives me 16. Then I'm going to add my numerator, which gives me 21. And then I'm going to put it over my original denominator. Okay, so I have now, and you'll notice they match, and that's not an accident. Okay, so 2 and 5/8 as a fraction greater than 1 would be 21/8. Okay, and I simply, and I'll work a few more examples for you in the upcoming slides, but basically all I did is I took my denominator, multiplied it by my whole number, added my numerator, and then I took that number and put it over my denominator, and I got 21/8. Okay? And then let's talk about how to rename a mixed number as a fraction greater than 1. And that's actually just division. You're going to take 21, divided by 8. 8 goes into 21 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. I get a remainder of 5, and then I take my remainder of 5, make it a numerator, and then I make my divisor the denominator, so 2 and 5/8. Don't worry, I'm going to work a few more examples of each one. So let's move on and take a look at them and see and work a few more examples. Okay, let's look at 2 and 3/5. Now, to do 2 and 3/5, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my denominator and multiply it by the whole number. So that would be 5 times 2, which is 10. And then I'm going to add that number to my numerator, plus 3, which gives me 13. And then that goes over my original denominator, and I end up with 13/5. Okay? Let's try 4 and 1/3. Again, I'm going to take my denominator, multiply it by the whole number, so 3 times 4, which is 12. Then I'm going to add it to my numerator, which is 1. That gives me 13. I'm going to put that over my original denominator, and I end up with 13/3. Okay, it's really not very hard. You just follow the steps. If that didn't make sense, watch it a couple more times. It will sink in, I promise. Now let's look at a couple examples of how to turn fractions greater than 1 into mixed numbers. Okay, here I have 31/6, and I am simply going to divide. And 6 goes into 31 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30. I get a remainder of 1, and so that would be 5 and 1/6, because remember, you take your remainder, excuse me, make it the numerator, and then your divisor is your denominator. So 31/6 as a mixed number would be 5 1/6. Let's try 27ths. Okay, so 7 goes into 22 times. 2 times 7 is 14. I get a remainder of 6. So 2 6/7. Okay? And that's all there is to it. I'll write it over here. Like I said before, if it didn't make sense, pause, rewind, watch it again. Do the best you can. The next slide is going to be your homework. Okay, here's your homework for tonight. You're going to do one of each. You're going to convert 2 1/4 into a fraction greater than 1. And then you're also going to rename 13's tenths as a mixed number. All right, good luck. See you tomorrow.